Hi guys. So I'm going to give everyone just a couple of minutes just to get situated. Somebody else is trying to come in. Let's see who else. Robinson, Admit. Okay, everybody's starting to pop in. Oh, Kelly, your picture is so cute. With your paw. Hi. Hi, Lynn.
Hello.
All right. Okay, well, I'm just going to give everybody a couple more minutes. A lot of people can't make it tonight, which is totally fine, which is why I have my recording on this time.
All right.
Those that didn't miss it. So give me just a second and we'll get started.
Okay. I'm in the car on the way home, so I'm hiding myself.
Somebody just rang my doorbell, so let's see what this is about. Oh, hey. How you doing? All right, cool. Thank you. All right, have a good night. Woo, new art.
Oh, well, thanks for getting us your package delivered. That was fun.
DHL always coming late. I love them.
Yeah, and I know Robin's on here, but she might, I think she's at the store. She's rescuing my mom or doing something.
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you just driving back from the Cairo, Kelly?
Yeah. Oh.
Ooh, let's see. Lynn?
This cool art. Really cool. Let's see. There's one of them.
Wow, that's amazing. Is that a chocoré? No, it's a music symbol.
It's a phoenix and a music note.
Yeah.
And then this one.
Now my husband's asking for the link.
There's the other one.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Where are those from?
There's a place called Displate, Displate, and this is metal. So you just take and you put a little metal sticker on your wall and hang it anywhere.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I'm kind of addicted to this company, and every time you order, they give you 30% off on your next one.
Oh.
So there you go, 30% off. Fun little habit, sorry.
All right, so let's get started. I first want to tell everybody, don't freak out when you open up the website. So a funny thing happened, and what happened is that, so the girl that's working on my website or whatever, she is sick. So she accidentally put up module 4, which isn't even, it's from my one-on-one coaching module 4. It's not the purpose module 4. But the weird, craziest part about it is I personally sent out that module to 3 of you. And because it's about relationships. So there's 2 modules for this week. And I don't want everybody to freak out because I know that I talked to a few of you and you said, wow, last week's was huge and big. You guys, this program is for you. It's all for you. Take it at your own pace. Don't overthink it. Don't try to push through the work, because when you push through it out of fear of hitting a deadline, you're going to miss the real breakthroughs that need to happen for you. So I've talked to a lot of you this week, and there were some incredible breakthroughs that were going on, and I wanted to share a couple of them. A little bit about this work is really, especially the relationship section. So wait, let me back up. Let me not go there yet. So there, when you open up the page, it says module 4, and then it says module 4 bonus. Module 4 bonus is the actual real one for this program. Now, the crazy part is that most of you, well, half of you are going through relationship issues. And so until we can get clear on healing those past wounds, we can't get to our real purpose. So those were huge for a couple of you on here. So I sent them out personally. Well, the universe heard me, apparently, and my assistant or my coach, she accidentally put that very one on the page that I sent out to these people. So I thought, oh, and I texted her like an hour and a half ago. I was like, oh crap, you got the wrong one on there. But then I thought about it and I was like, no, just add the goal one to it, because those of you that are still needing some clearing from old wounds and old relationship stuff that maybe still you are still carrying with you, these are really, really important, because when you can break through some of those old wounds, you'll start to really open yourself up to more possibilities. So it doesn't matter if we do goal setting and all this stuff to find our purpose, if the old wounds are still dragging us down as baggage, as we all call it. We all have baggage, right? But really clearing and going through the baggage is super, super important. So if you choose and you want to do the relationship worksheet, it's very intense. And it is about uncovering more of your dark qualities, your dark shadows, if you will. I really hate using that word, but I don't know another word to use. So really going through that and dissecting through those, and then finding the gifts in those will help you with going back to module 3. So it will really help to understand what the gifts are in that. And you guys know that I'm here, and I have some calls set up this week for some of you. I wanted to offer Kelly as well is open, and I think Kelly, like, you would be great, and I know Lynn would do it as well. But Kelly might be great for like my husband and my sister, because they're hard ones for me because I already have my perception around them. So, I'm going to offer you guys' services to them just to have a little breakthrough call, like, hey, what's been going on? What do you have questions on? They might feel more comfortable talking with you. Even Mary, who's on here, and even Mary, who's on here, who I've worked with her before, and I know I have a great relationship with her, but she might want somebody else's perspective on it. And I know Kelly and I have been working a lot on getting the program set up for her as well. So, and Lynn and I are working on stuff as well. So I wanted to open that up with that. Now that we've got everybody in here, I really want to take a moment and just ground ourselves, because I feel like there's so much going on this week that, oh, Mary, did you hear what I said about you?
No, I did not. It was all feedback until I got on my laptop.
Oh, that's funny. So I said, I was saying that Kelly and Lynn have offered to do breakthrough calls. So if you'd like to do one with them, because I know we've worked together, we have a great relationship, but it might help you just to have a different perspective.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that you might enjoy hearing a different person's perspective, because Mary's been through the program as well. So you guys might enjoy each other's company, and on a different level, So that's been exciting. So that's a new exciting thing for me. So I really wanted to make sure that, so Mary, did you hear that there's 2 modules? Module 4 on the thing is the relationship module, which you've been through because it's part of my one-on-one coaching. Module 4 bonus is more of the purpose stuff. So you guys choose what you want to do. If you want to just do the bonus part, which is part of this program, do that. If you need some more breakthroughs with relationships, then do the other one. But if you feel like you're clear on relationships.
Why did you mute yourself?
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
I'm back. I don't know. I accidentally hit the button. Okay, so I want to do a quick meditation just to get us grounded, because I do feel like after talking to everybody, this is the week, guys, that everyone's having these aha moments, like, oh crap. And it kind of, and I'll be honest, and for those girls that have been through my entire one-on-one program, it's the week where you start to kind of like oh God, I got so many shadows, and oh shit, what am I gonna do with these? And what's the gift in being a narcissist? And what's the gift in being like, how am I a narcissist? And so it gets a little like overwhelming, and it's normal. You just have to push through it. Don't give up. If you stop now, you'll never get to the other side and see the light, which is what we're trying to do. But we have to go. This is the dark period, is what I call it. And I never usually tell people that at the beginning of the program because I think it scares people away. But this is that space that you have to push through it because you're so friggin' close to understanding it and it all making sense. And right now it's all in bits and pieces. And eventually the whole story will make sense to you. You'll be like, oh my God, I am narcissistic. And I love that. So speaking of narcissism, I want to read this thing to you guys. Oh my God. So the reason I'm bringing up narcissism is because I've heard this from several people this week. And this is a word that I feel like is being used quite often. And I don't know, everyone has their own meaning behind it. So whenever somebody says, oh, they're narcissistic, and I'm like, what is your interpretation of narcissism? Because everyone has their own interpretation of it. But I'm going to verbatim read to you guys what narcissism is, okay? Are you guys ready? Narcissism is the pursuit of gratification from vanity or egotistic admiration of one's ideal self-image and attributes. This includes self-flattery, perfectionism, and arrogance. The term originally came from the Greek mythology, where the young narcissus fell in love with his own image reflected in a pool of water. So it goes into the narcissism and what the psychology has said about it. It was actually introduced with Sigmund Freud's essay on narcissism in 1914. Just a fun fact. But this is the part that blows me away. Narcissism is also considered a social cultural problem. It is in fact in trait theory used in various self-report inventories of personalities such as, and then they name some other things. It is one of the 3 dark triadic personality traits. Okay, this is where it even gets more interesting. Accept the sense of primary narcissism, which is an unhealthy narcissism, or healthy self-love. So when you hover over, and this is in Wikipedia, you guys can look this up for yourselves, because I'm not an auditory person. And I'm going to put this in the Facebook group too. But when you hover over healthy self-love, healthy narcissism is the characteristic of possessing realistic self-esteem without being cut off from a shared emotional life, as the unhealthy narcissist tends to be. So there is a beauty in being narcissist. Now, that brings me to the work that we're going into, because what we have to do, and some of the breakthroughs this week were about relationships. What we have to do is realize that there is a healthy state of narcissism. There is a non-healthy state. Now, for most of us on this call, most of you guys were raised by baby boomers, maybe. And if you weren't raised by baby boomers, you were raised by the silent generation, which I have the dates written down because I can't remember them. Baby boomers were born from 1946 to 1964, okay? They were raised by silent generation. So 1925 to 1945. What the silent generation actually took on was hoarding and keeping their money safe and not being too selfish, because they saw that in the Depression, right? So this is how they live their life. Eat all your food. Don't ask for too much. So this was a message that they gave to the baby boomers. And so the baby boomers took this on and said, okay, we can't ask for too much. We can't ask for what we need. We can't ask for what we want. We have to eat all our food. And that's when the whole that's when the whole epidemic of like overweight and all that stuff really started to increase, was with the baby boomers, which this is what I did today. I was fascinated by it. So I just kept going. Because what we don't understand is that your relationships with people, and once you start to break down the relationship module, it's not just your relationship with those people. It's the relationship that those people had with their parents, and those people had with their parents and their siblings. So this goes way back. And you get these messages due to whatever the generational message was. And for a lot of the baby boomers that raised most of us, they wanted to give us a lot of, they wanted to give us more than what they had, because the silent generation couldn't give that much to them as children. And they really instilled in them not to be too much or ask too much or stand up for yourself. So there has been this like level of, so if you think about, they wanted to give us everything, right? And they rarely said no to us. I mean, maybe, but they probably did a little bit. But now that we're raising children, like nobody says no to their kids. Nobody sets boundaries, because now we're even spreading that message from silent generation to baby boomers to Generation X, which is what I am. Like we got this message so much that we just, and then when you don't give boundaries to certain people, or you're doted on by your family because maybe your parent or their parent wasn't doting on them, and then they overdoted on you and gave you too much, then you become narcissistic to an unhealthy state. That's where narcissism really lies. But there is a gift. I mean, I just went through this whole huge letter that, if you guys didn't do it in module 3, that I wanted to read to you guys. But first, before we say or go any further, I want to open you all back up. And I'm kind of stalling because I'm waiting for some people to get into a place where they can meditate. Okay. So does anybody have any questions about that, or did that make sense? Is that more confusing? Did you like that information?
Yes,
Yeah?
definitely.
Yeah, I did too. That makes
isn't that
sense.
great? Robin and I was thinking about the kids.
I know, that's what I was just thinking.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, that's exactly what has been happening.
Yeah.
Not my kids, but the kids I watched for a friend this week. Yeah.
Robin was in hell. She has PTSD from these children. Not kidding you. Like, these kids are out of control.
Ronnie, why don't I like little children anymore? I'm just teasing. They obviously it's not their fault, right?
Yeah.
Their behavior is a result of the parenting from like you just said. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah, it's exactly it. So, and then, you know, I was talking to Leah this week, and she hasn't talked to her mother in 3 years. And she said I could share this story, but she hasn't talked to her mother in 3 years. And, you know, we don't even need to get into the nitty gritty of it. But when I asked her, tell me a little bit about your mother's upbringing. And when she started to tell me her mother's upbringing, it was so eye-opening for her. Like, I was like, listen, girl, like, this is what your mom saw as a model. And so this is the only way she knew how to receive and accept love. And she was like, oh my God. I'm like, it's not even the relationship that you have with your parents or your siblings. It's really the relationship that they had, and then what they had. You know, and it just keeps trickling down until we do this kind of work, we don't break patterns. And that's what this really is about, is breaking the patterns so that we can be in our wholeness, right? So, yeah, I hope you guys like that. I found it fascinating because I know that this work goes deeper than just our initial relationships. You know, it goes beyond that. You know, looking at our husbands and who they were raised by, and then finding out who they were raised by. I mean, it's the story becomes out of your story and beyond you. And that's when we can free ourselves up and let go of it and not hold on to those resentments or regrets or all that gunk. Anybody else want to pipe in on that?
Hey, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Isn't that considered and called generational curses when we repeat the same patterns that our parents are raising us in, their parents raised them in, extension of it. That's how I look at it, because actually I just went out to eat with my mom today, and I was like, oh,
Good for you.
you cannot. Sometimes, like, when your good perception of people meets mom or dad on their level, you kind of got to say sometimes hands off. Like, I see you for who you are, and I appreciate you, and I can't fix you.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, and then I see, oh my God, all the things that I gathered, that I took on from her into my generation, into teaching other people. And I'm just like, no, 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 no. It's like, you have to put that boundary and cut it and be like, all right, what do I believe? And I think we see our parents, at least I did, you see mom is mom, dad is dad. They are titles and roles, not as individuals and people.
Yeah.
And like you said, until you actually sit there and go, huh, this is what your mom was like, and this is what great grandma was like, or whatever. And so you really don't. We just are like, there's mom, that's dad, they're asses, they're, do this, they do that.
Yeah, they got all
But
their
when you
stuff.
look at grandma, grandpa, and everything else, and you're thinking, oh God, grandma was an alcoholic, or, grandpa was like a narcissistic, abusive prick, whatever it be. We don't see our parents like that, I don't think, until you start doing work like this, where you can see
Right.
yourself as an individual.
Well,
So,
and
yeah,
I will say this, that I think one of my biggest breakthroughs in my life was when I really looked at my father's upbringing. And my father was an atheist, and he still pretends to be, but I'm on him. But most of you know my story, but my story was that my father was extremely controlling of me, and not so much my sisters, but me more so, because I think I just butted up against him. um, he had lost a child, or whatever. Anyways, go back, like way back. Well, my dad was 7 years old. He came home from school, and his best friend was his grandfather that lived at home with him. And I always wondered why my dad did not believe in God. And it was almost like a hate. And my dad to this day will tell you the story that he came home one day, and it was the only day that his grandfather packed him a lunch and said, buddy, you're going to stay at school today. And my dad was like, no, I want to come home and have lunch with you. I have lunch with you every single day, Grandpa. And he said, not today, buddy. Like, just here's your lunch. So when he came home, he tried to get into my grandpa's bedroom, and he couldn't open the door. And then my grandma came over and was like, oh, that son of a bitch hung himself. My dad, she opened up the door and pushed my dad into that room. And my dad, with all his might at 7 years old, tried to hold my great grandfather up, who was 300 pounds, and just sobbing. So my dad's early message was, I can't trust God, and I can't even trust people that they're not going to leave me. Fast forward that, and when I was 11 years old, my sister was born, and she had a rare disease. And my mom begged him to go to church, and he, in all of his might, wanted to believe in something. So he chose to believe in God. He even became a deacon of the church. And then 6 months later, my sister Randy died. And then I turned 13. And of course, I was spreading my wings and wanting to go out. So my whole story for so long into my 20s, my hate for my father and my disgust for how he treated me and wouldn't let me do the things I wanted to do. I mean, mind you, I was not an angel, but at all. Like, I was probably a handful, and I was a very needy child. I mean, I wanted a lot of attention because I had there were three of us, and I needed, hi Kelly, welcome back. I needed some attention, because most of my attention was not spent on us. It was spent on my sister, who was sick. And when I learned that story about my dad, and I learned that his anger wasn't towards me, it was to protect me. And I'll never forget one time having a conversation with him, and I said, Dad, I forgive you. And he crumpled up his pack of cigarettes and threw them in the garbage and said, you will never know what it's like not to be able to save your child. And I was not about ready to fucking lose another one. So all the hinges off the doors and having security follow me around all made sense to me. But it was his upbringing. It was how he was raised. And he was never able to cry about his grandfather ever in their home. My grandmother forbidded it. So my dad also learned the message that we don't show emotion and we don't hug a lot and we don't kiss a lot. And he's surpassed all of that. I mean, he's unfolded into an incredible, giving, loving, affectionate man, which I don't even know how he did it, but he's done it. So when we can heal and look back at the generations that happened prior to, that's when real healing happens. And we let go of the story. And it wasn't until that time that I finally let go of the story. So, and that's when our relationship started. And I think I was like 28 years old, which is sad, but I'm grateful for it now. All right. Are you guys ready to do a meditation? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I want everybody to go ahead and close your eyes. Place your hands over your heart. Take a slow, long, deep breath in. Feeling the air pass through your nostrils. Feeling your chest expand. And as you exhale, feeling your body let go. But now I'd like you just to bring your breath to its natural state. Not forcing it, just letting it be as it is. Paying attention to the wave of the air as it moves through your body effortlessly. I would like you now to bring your awareness to the bottoms of your feet, to the soles of your feet. And if they're placed on the ground, just notice the balance of them, where the distribution lies. Move through each toe, noticing if you can feel it. In this meditation, we're not trying to change anything or alter it. We're just trying to recognize it for what it is. And as you move through these places, if you can't feel anything, just make note of that. As you bring your awareness now into your ankles, into your calves, notice the temperature. Maybe they're resting up against something. Notice what that feels like. And now into your shins. Can you actually feel your shins? And into your knees, moving your awareness from the right knee into the left knee. And now into your thighs, backs of your thighs, the tops of your thighs. Sometimes while doing this meditation, you might feel tingling or warmth or twitching you didn't notice before. It's just about us opening up our awareness. Now into your hips and your buttocks. Noticing how it feels resting against the chair or seat you're sitting in. And now into your lower intestines, lower back. Into your stomach area now, the middle of your back. Into your chest, Make note of what your hands feel like if they're still on your chest. Notice your lungs. Now into your shoulder blades. If you're leaning up against something, notice how that feels against your shoulder blades or your back. And now into your shoulders, your collarbones. Just notice if there's any tension there. Don't try to change it. We're just here to recognize it for what it is, without judgment. Pull all your attention down your arms now. All the way into your hands. Maybe your hands are touching one another. Notice what that texture feels like. Now let's move our awareness up into our neck. Notice our swallowing, the muscles in the back of the neck. And now into your jaw. Don't try to change it. Just notice how you're holding it. Your teeth, your tongue. Notice how it's resting, maybe on the top of your mouth. Maybe it's resting below. Now into your cheekbones and all the little tiny vessels there. And into your temples, your eyelids, your eyebrows, your forehead. Now move all your awareness into your scalp, all the way from your forehead, all the way down to where it meets your neck. Just sit here with this for a moment to see what you can feel. With your hands on your heart, take a moment to give gratitude for this moment. As maybe it's been the only moment you've been present today. Give thanks for that. As you take one last slow, long, deep breath in. And release and let it all go. Sorry. All right, guys. I'm going to unmute everyone. Unmute. Unmute. So, I hope that got you guys centered after hearing about narcissism. So I'm going to open this up for anybody that has any questions or aha moments or concerns about last week's module. I know a lot of people were like, wow, this is a lot. But anybody want to share anything or any breakthroughs that they had? Do I need to put somebody on the spot? Mary?
Well, when I was going through my personalities of the things that triggered me, one thing that came up with just about everybody was like the term inconsiderate. And after some long thinking, I realized that I spent my whole life being very inconsiderate towards myself and not taking my feelings in or anything that I ever wanted. And I just kind of automatically saw myself as this servant to other people. And that's kind of what ended me up in a lot of my life's pitfalls anyhow. And a lot of my relationship troubles and job troubles and everything was my lack of regard for myself.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I know that that's been something that, Mary was in my 101 program and we worked through that. But I think, sometimes you guys, this work continues to, you're still going to hold on to certain stories that are so strong and so embedded, right? That it's going to take a little nurturing and a little coddling to really bring that to surface, honestly. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. And also, some of your relationships in your life have changed significantly because they don't push up against you. And I think what you said to me was really beautiful, and explaining that. Okay. So do you want to explain it, or you want me to just say how I interpreted what you said?
Oh, go ahead.
So, Mary has had a charge around someone in her life for quite some time. And when I first met her, that charge brought her to tears every time she talked about it. And what she said to me the other day was, because it doesn't match me anymore, this person has moved on. So this person isn't poking at her anymore. It's not, they're not attacking her or waiting for a reaction, because Mary no longer has a reaction to it. So when people don't have a match to feed it, they move on to somebody else that does have a match to that. Does that make sense? Right? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, Mary?
Oh, definitely.
So Thanksgiving's going to be a good time. Because that person doesn't have it's almost like they get bored with you. Like, well, shit,
Oh, yeah, this person moved on. They need their ego stroked somewhere else.
Yeah, and because you're not reacting to it in a good way or a bad way.
Nope.
Because it's numb to you now. They don't charge you anymore,
Good for you, Mary. Get it, girl.
All right. So, you guys, this recording, most of you on here have been through my program, but so the more feedback you give right now, the better it's going to be for everyone else that couldn't make tonight. And I know they had great, not even excuses, just reasons. So anything that you can share at this point to help them would be significant. Anyone? Nope.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. All right, girl.
So I was going through the module 3 stuff. Hold on, let me close my door. I literally just got home.
That's commitment.
But as I was going through module 3 work, I was kind of stumbling a little bit. And so it was just kind of funny because I've been through this before. So it's like, why are you even stumbling? But what I realized was that even though like I worked through a lot of shit in the first time I went through this, I think I told you this on the phone, is that going through it again for me is like peeling the layers off of an onion, right? So like, there was shit I was ready to deal with the first time I did this. And like now there's different stuff that's coming up. And so I'm just finding it really interesting because this time I'm not shocked. I'm not freaked out. I'm not like, I don't even know the right word to use, but like, I'm okay with it. And like, all right, fine, let's deal with this bullshit and let's move on to the next thing. Like, let's just keep going,
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just kind of funny to me because one of the things that you have to do in this is to like visualize your future. And so I realized I was visualizing, stop smirking at me, goddamn it. So I realized I was visualizing really super small. Like I wasn't even if I'm honest, I was just bullshitting my way through the visualization and just being like, yeah, fine, whatever. I want to do this. I want to do that. Whatever. It's fine. But like when you actually start to think about it in the aspect of your dream and like why you want to do it, and you really just stop all the noise and just sit there and like, I'm a big person or big person right now with just sitting with things and feeling them. Like, so if you've ever gone through Reiki training, at least one of the people that I trained under is like, things either feel heavy or light. So as you're making a decision or as you're talking about things or as you're visualizing your future, how does it feel? Does it feel heavy or does it feel light? And this feels so light to me, it's ridiculous. Like, last week when you had us write the 3 words, like my 3 words were calm, at ease, and at peace. That's not me.
Wow. That's
Like if anybody knows me, I'm far from freaking calm. Like I'm far from at ease, and I'm not usually at peace. But the last few months, it's just been very calm. My spirit's calm. Everything's calm. Now I'm rolling into Thanksgiving with a whole shit ton of drama. So we'll see how that works out. But like, I'm kind of clear on what I'm supposed to do for the first time. Like,
oh my God, I'm
for
so
real.
excited. So wait, now that you're saying that, so do you guys understand in last week's work, there is what's called Kalego. So let me just tell you a little bit about this and why it's so powerful. So it's a guy by the name of Kevin Cease, and you guys should look him up because he's hilarious. He was a comedian that went into Tony Robbins' program, and now he's a motivational speaker, and he's awesome to watch. And he's hilarious. Anyways, he does this thing where instead of doing law of attraction, because law of attraction, and I was a secret fanatic, and I am a law of attraction fanatic, but there's times when I do it where I'm like, bullshit, this, you're not going to drive a Ferrari. This, like, you can pretend all you want, Ronnie, but my ego would still play in that story of ain't going to happen. Like you're supposed to imagine yourself in this scenario. So what Kevin Cease does, and his name is spelled with a Cease. Like you can find him on YouTube. He's amazing. He does a ton of shit for free. You can do a $20 program, and he's engaged, and does live calls like this. He's just awesome. I've seen him live like twice. He's just great. Anyways, so I really like the technique of what he does is he takes himself a year from now, instead of visualizing a year from now and what that looks like and feels like, and because the ego has like a bullshit monitor on it, and because we're really good at like telling ourselves that we can't have things. So what he does is he pretends like it's a year later, and then he goes back and he's like telling a buddy, like, for the first time, like, oh my God, remember a year ago, you were taking me to this audition and I nailed it and I killed it and I was on point. And then I had that job, then I got that job in that movie set and, blah, 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 blah. And every time he did it like that, it started to manifest. So what's happening is actually the neurons in our brains, when we start to pretend like it really happened, the message starts to go out from, our brain into our body, and then our body starts to listen to it. So it goes from the head, the thought process, into our heart. So those of you guys that know that I'm a heart math like guru person, the heart actually owns its own, that's a good word. It owns its own neurons. So our brain carries neurons, but what they found out is that our heart actually has its own neurons. So sometimes the brain can send a message to the heart. So when you think about somebody that's passed or think about an old pain, you actually physically feel it in your heart. And then your heart tells your eyes to cry. And that's how the whole message thing works. But the power in the heart is more powerful than that of the brain. But the brain has the authority to do the visualization. The heart does not. The heart only feels. So when we create the story, it sends a message to the heart, and then things start to shift. So this is why I love this exercise. So I'm going to read you mine because a lot of you on here are in it. And it's, oh, and I, of course, didn't bring my glasses. So I have to do it like this. So when you write this letter, write it like you're writing it to your best friend. And when I do workshops, like live workshops, I make people do this to each other. And it's really awkward and then again, all weird. But I want you to write it like you're talking to your best friend. So mine says, oh my God, wait till you hear this. So last year at this time, I had finished this program I enrolled in. You cannot imagine how that decision to join that was the single most incredible thing I have ever done for myself. Since then, so much has happened. Well, first of all, I felt this sense of freedom from my own abuse that I never knew possible. I mean, who knew I was actually abusing myself all these years? I can fully and honestly look myself in the mirror and love and honor all in which I am today. And I thank that program for that. And guess what? Even guess what? Even the shitty parts of me, I love because they are no longer shitty and I have honored their gifts and I respect them and rejoice them, whatever. That insecure girl in me is finally gone. She's been healed and poof, it was literally just like that. It's crazy. So then I partnered up with some ladies and we started a program that was bigger than all of us. These are strong and powerful women that I trust with my life. I needed them to create what it was I envisioned. And like that, they showed up in my life. It was really nuts. Our business and our businesses are making over 6 figures. Shit, at this rate, I don't doubt it hitting over 7 very soon. We are touching more people's lives than I could have ever done alone, and I am so grateful for them. And get this, I launched my book that I was putting off for months. I have sold over 500,000 copies, and I don't even know how, because I really don't. And me and my sisters started a program together, and we wrote a book. We have a different message, but we pulled all of our strengths into one place, and people are loving it. We are touching so many lives, and I am so grateful. I'm getting emotional. Girl, I'm telling you, I should be tired as shit. But to be honest, I am so fueled with energy. I wake up every day fueled and charged, ready to help more and more people. I doubted my coaching program. I doubled my coaching program. And my menopause symptoms are completely gone. Like, just gone. Don't ask me. I just praise baby Jesus that I'm clear of it all. I'm clear and I'm organized. Oh, and the best part, me and my husband are better than we have ever been before. We moved to a lovely home near the water. I now drink coffee while looking at the beach. It's amazing here. I'm so blessed and proud of me and proud of us. I can't wait to see what it is you will create as you spread your wings. You guys like that?
You're gonna get me crying, Ronnie.
That's how powerful the Kegel exercise is. And when we believe it and we write it down, I always tell you guys, like, the reason we do so much journaling is because you're connecting your higher self to your heart self. And when we do it and we make it real, it becomes real, not only in our bodies, but we put it out into the universe. Because a lot of times we just like think, I wish I could this, or I wish I could do this, or I wish I could be that. I want to create this. But I think it makes such an impact when we write it down. I love you, Lynn.
I think you make such an impact when you give a future like that.
Right? Like, wasn't that impactful?
I actually was like, you did? You sold? Wait, I didn't know you sold the 500,000.
I know, right?
I was in there with you, girl. I was like
write it.
I missed out on some shit.
It's real, like it happened. And
Yeah.
when I was writing it, I started to write it on paper, and then I was like, I was going too fast, so I actually had to go to my computer. I'm like, oh God, no, this is gonna be big. And I do it all the time. And when I don't do it, it's so crazy. But those are the weeks that I get caught up in the what am I doing? Why, because I can't feel like the future. I can see it, but then my ego comes in and goes, "Yeah, do you really see that?"
Right.
But when I can feel it, it becomes real, and then it gives me that courage and strength to go on. So, anyways, okay, let me see what else I wanted to go over. I think that's it. But like I said, you guys, make sure that you finish the work. Do the Kegel exercise and really dive into these modules. Don't overwhelm yourself. If, like I said before, I'm meeting with a lot of you one-on-one. But Kelly, Mary, all of you on here right now. And the only ones I'm not meeting with, well, I did meet with Mary, but I'm not meeting with you guys regularly. And the others I am, and only because I'm missing a lot or whatnot. But I want to help you work through anything. Just because you've been through my program before doesn't mean that I'm still not your coach, and I'm still not your friend, and I'm still not your sister. But I need to put on my coach hat and help you push through some of these things. Like I said, it does get to be a lot. But you guys will enjoy the module bonus. That's the one I want you guys to do because you've done the other one. Because that'll really propel you into figuring out, okay, now that I'm starting to create my purpose, what are the people, places, activities, and things I need to do to really freaking to really bring it into like reality. So that exercise is huge. And I think it would be useful for all of you to kind of just start to think, okay, what do I need to surround myself with now to make this happen, right? All right, if you guys don't have anything. Okay, you do?
Kelly got me muted. What happened?
Nope. I muted myself.
Oh, okay.
She was talking to her kitty cat.
Ronnie, I have to talk to you about getting some paperwork that I can't print out. Is that okay?
Yeah, you need some PDFs.
Yeah, I got money.
Money.
I don't got a printer.
Yeah. Oh, you need the modules printed out.
Yeah, because I've been flying by the seat of my pants by going back into what I just did.
Our program.
So I don't know what the hell's really going on, but I'm like, all right, I remember this portion. I remember how I feel. I got it. So
okay, so you know what? Yeah, Lynn, let's jump on a call after this.
Okay.
I have an idea.
Do you?
I do have an idea. I just spoke with today that I think it's easy for everybody to get. So you guys don't have to print out all this stuff. Like, does anybody here have Google Docs, Google Drive?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't
Oh,
that
Lord,
be
are you talking
easier just
technology?
to punch in your answers right there?
Yes, definitely.
Like, why didn't you people tell me this? I was like, oh, that would be so much easier. So
Editable though.
Yeah, you need to make them PDFs before you make them public to people. So how about I work on doing that for you?
yeah, I was like, Kelly, why you gotta confuse me? Just do that, please.
Yeah. So let me get that done for you before you make them public, because what'll happen is if you send them if you let just anybody have access to your Word documents, they can change them.
Yeah, and then also it repeats itself. Like your work will stay on there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anybody can get it, and then they can print it off, or they can whatever from there.
Yeah.
But you just don't want to give someone your raw documents.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Hey guys, I just learned how to get on Zoom. Now we're talking about PDFs. Oh Lord.
Then
I might have to take a class with Kelly.
We got you. It'll be fine.
We'll take care of you.
Things, old school. All right, cool.
All right, well, Kelly, let's talk about that. And thanks for your input, Mary, because I do think it would be helpful. And that's just part of what this program is, right? It's a beta group, so I need you guys' input, and I welcome it. Like, hey, what if you did it like this next time? And
yeah,
Robin's been giving
that would make it easier.
Yeah, Robin's been giving me input too on like the work, so that's been helpful. And Yeah, but let's chat soon about that. All right, guys, I don't want to hold everyone else up, but let's all get together again soon. And if anybody has any questions, you know I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. So,
Cool.
all right.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right. You
Good night,
guys
everybody.
too. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Happy
Oh
Thanksgiving.
yeah, happy
too.
Thanksgiving, guys.
Mhm.